Hey, it's Tim.
And it's Amy from GoWithLess. We're glad you're here. In this week's video, we're sharing our full July spending with you. We're getting into the nitty-gritty. We hope you watch the whole video.
Amy and I retired in our late 40s, and now we are full-time, home-free, traveling the world nomads. Every Wednesday here on our channel, we're talking about our nomadic fire life. This particular Wednesday, the second Wednesday of the month, we are talking about our spending for the prior month. So now we're talking about July spending, and we target spending about $3,000 a month. That isn't necessarily how much money we can spend. That is just how much money we've allocated for our own purposes to spend in a given month, and it's worked for us for the course of the last 6 years. And so this year's been a little bit of a struggle, but we'll share with you what this month looked like today.
Now, we want to share where we were in July, and we were in a lot of places. So this is going to be a bit of a long segment. We started in Westchester, New York, finishing a house sit for my college roommate. We had one day in July in Manhattan. It was really fun. We had lunch in Chinatown, visited the Tenement Museum, and gathered in our car, drove to Philadelphia on July 4th. What a cool place to celebrate such a momentous occasion in America's history as Philadelphia. So we only had the one night there, though, and we were flying out the next morning. Now, that was one rock star night because one of our viewers offered to put us up, a total stranger we had never met before. So not only did we stay with her, she also hosted an event in our home of GoWithLess Facebook friends in the Philly area, which was amazingly nice. And she took our car off our hands because we didn't know what to do with it for 6 weeks when we were in Mexico. So our car is just in the streets of Philadelphia with Kathy Kaz. Thank you for that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for that. So, okay, we got on our first flight since COVID, since March of 2020. And we flew from Philadelphia to Querétaro with a stop in Houston. The first part was extremely easy. The second part wasn't hard, but it was delayed for rainstorms in Texas. So we were delayed like 3 hours. We were very fortunate because even though the Houston airport is amazing, at least our terminal was, with tons of desks and more charging stations than I remember seeing in any airport, but we had priority pass lounge access.
Yeah, which is phenomenal. So in this particular lounge, they had unlimited booze and there was a nice selection of food. So we were there for several hours. So this worked out perfectly. Yeah. This is when you want to have a lounge. So the delay actually turned into no big deal because we just sat there and drank and ate, and it was fantastic. So happy to have the delay.
Now, our flight to Querétaro from Houston is only 2 hours. It's an amazingly short flight for such a difference in worlds in this trip. So we spent 5 nights in Querétaro, Mexico. We have a whole video all about that. We were in an Airbnb. And then we got to San Miguel de Allende on July the 10th, only an hour from Querétaro by car, and we are still here. So we're on a house sit. So these are all things to consider in our spending because we were on house sits for a majority or with a friend for one night. So we don't have a lot of accommodations in this video, but let's talk a little bit about, because we have 2 different kinds of spending now that we talk about.
So that's a great point. The last 2 weeks we have discussed the spending for the week in the city where we are, and so that is a completely different exercise than what we're doing now. This exercise that we're talking about today is more about the spending for our nomadic life. What does it cost us to basically live the life that we're leading for the entire year? Does our $3,000 a month work in terms of supporting our lifestyle? So that's what these videos are about. The prior 2 weeks were simply about what is the spending in this given place. So if you were going to come visit San Miguel de Allende, what does a week cost in San Miguel de Allende? So it's a little different take on things, and also there's just differences in the way the numbers are presented. But anyway, something to know, a little different.
So all 4 weeks don't add up to our month of spending, and you're going to see why. So let's get into category number 1.
Our number 1 category for the month of July is going to be food and dining. We spent $1,649 for the month, and that blew us away. So that is the most money we've spent on food in a long, long time. Last month we actually made this comment that when this is our number 1 category, we know we're living our best life. So this month we must have had certainly our best life ever, because we spent a lot of money this month in this category.
Well, I'm going to break it down. Okay, so $1,649 total breaks down to $1,376 for dining, $273 for groceries. Now consider that we got to Mexico really starting the morning of July the 6th. So we were really surprised to see it this high in Mexico. Mexico. And there are some reasons for that. Tim wasn't really so sure about sharing this one, but I have shared a lot of things on this channel. I have shared a lot of detail about my personal life. And so I'm going to say that a big giant chunk was for my birthday dinner. Now, he thought it was gauche to be talking about this, but again, we share this. So, okay, I have the world's best husband for me, but he is not the world's best husband when it comes to birthdays. I'll give an example. On my 50th birthday at 8:30 at night on my 50th birthday, I had to plan what I was doing that night. P.S. You don't really get much of a 50th birthday when you start planning it at 8:30 the day of. Okay, so I knew that if I wanted to have a great birthday, I was going to have to plan it myself. And because we are often traveling during the summertime, we don't really get to celebrate holidays in any big way, certainly not birthdays. I'm really into them, Tim isn't. And so I said, you know, we're going to have all these friends here. I want to have a fabulous dinner, and I want to take care of that. That will be my birthday gift to myself, is paying for that meal. So the meal was expensive. It was $416, but it was extraordinary. Not only did it have incredible views and artistic, beautiful, and delicious food and perfect service. It was at one of the nicest hotels and restaurants in town.
I think the beauty of the restaurant far exceeded the food itself. So the star actually was the setting.
Because it was magnificent.
The food was great, but the setting was just phenomenal.
Beyond. Yeah. And even more than that were the people that we were with.
Of course.
That was so we could have gone to a taco truck and I probably would have had great fun, but it wouldn't have been as special of a treat. And so we were with 3 other couples. You've seen them on our videos the past couple of weeks, and it was extraordinary. It was worth every penny, but that was $416. So when 416 out of $13.76 is one meal, well, that is a doozy. And then we had a couple other notable meals, $75 at La Parada in last week's video. We said that was the best meal we've had so far in 2021. That was just the 2 of us on a fun date night, and it was. And then our third most expensive meal for the whole month was $66, and it was also for 3 people. It was Tim and I took out one of our girlfriends in New York for Greek food, $66. So not like it was a crazy big splurge, but again, when you're like, that is what it is. So I broke it down. When you take out my birthday from the dining, it really worked out to $32 a day total for the 2 of us. So that, I don't think that is so crazy, $16 a person for all of our food. Now, I'm gonna mention, let's talk a little bit about why we aren't cooking at home. We didn't cook a single meal at home in the month of July, is that right?
So you want me to talk about that? It's a little challenging, I think.
You take it.
As we're on the road to cook, number one, so it's getting to the grocery store and getting groceries.
I don't think that's it.
So that's part of it. Also, it's very convenient to go and eat out, and we've been a little lazy, and we like it. And so I think that when Amy brings up this $30, so something of note also, we are not trying to be as cheap as we can possibly be. We're not trying to eat at taco trucks solely and spend $1.50 on every meal. That's not something we're aspiring to have in our life. Also, we love using our credit cards, and there are plenty of places around that let us use our credit cards, especially most of the restaurants in town, no matter how small they are, seem to let us use our credit cards. So we have plenty of opportunities to do that, and so it's just, it's been more convenient to eat out, and we've been a little lazy, I think. So,
and I think it's also a lot of social time. So I think we have 23 friends that we're visiting with here. That's a lot of people, and it's hard. I think it's hard to cook a meal for people in someone else's home. I haven't even done that. Actually, I've done it before in another country, but I think it's quite hard for me, and maybe it's something that I'll get a lot more comfortable with as we have more time under our belts being nomads around the world. But it's easier just to meet people out for a meal. It's affordable. But we go and have a great meal. Some of them are maybe $10 a meal. We only eat 2 meals a day, so it's not unusual that both of those meals are out. I'm actually thrilled with that. So I'm just surprised.
I'm not
unhappy.
So it's like, I think we're challenged with the amount of money we spend. We will not spend this much money next month, I can tell you that.
On food and dining?
We will not. Our second largest category this month is going to be what we call miscellaneous. So this is like a catch-all category for things that don't fit into our other 8 groupings. And so the amount that we spent this month was $229 in this category. The lion's share of that was gifts. We spent about $150 gifts and charity. So we also gave some money to a charity. We also spent $45 on flowers for 4 different weeks. So that was a happy addition to our life. Again, trying to live our best life, not trying to be as cheap as possible. We had flowers that basically showed up at our house every week that we paid for.
Which I think was a really good deal.
Yeah, and this last one really rubs me the wrong way. It was completely a mistake that I made.
This is an important one, actually.
I spent $34 on ATM fees, and this is purely my fault. And so Schwab, we have an account with Schwab that erases all ATM fees. However, there's this thing that pops up on the screen at ATMs around town here in San Miguel. This didn't happen in Querétaro. That says, if you want to get your cash out, it's going to cost you 5.5%. That's how much we're going to charge you to get for the courtesy of exchanging the funds right here, US dollars to Mexican pesos. And so I think all I had to do on that screen was say, no, I want my bank to do that, and I wouldn't have been charged these excessive fees. Schwab does not wipe away these excessive fees, these exchange fees. And so I am stuck holding the bag for $34 worth of fees. And all I had to do, I think this is maybe from 4 different transactions with ATMs, is say, nope, I don't want to do that. And I would have $34 in my pocket.
So that was also a very high percentage.
It's like 5.5%. Was the amount that they charged me for these, and I can't remember exactly what this thing is called. Amy will pop it up on the screen what exactly it's called, but you want to avoid this at all costs because it's just simply a ripoff.
Okay, category number 3 is auto and transportation. That comes in at $219. We had $106 for Uber and taxis. That covers $50 for our car from Querétaro to San Miguel de Allende. It covers our $23 Uber from the Querétaro airport to our Airbnb in town. And then we live at the top of an extremely high hill, and we walk down every time, but we have taken, so when we come up, it's like every 10 steps, I'm like, it is like kickboxing HIIT exercise climbing that hill, and it's about 30 minutes. So when you come up, you're completely sweaty and drenched, and if you have anything that you're holding, like you need another shower on the other side of that walk. So we don't always do that, and we have, it's funny because here I pay for like going to a gym in my life. Meanwhile, here I have this great gym. The problem is like I'm showered and ready to go for the day, so I'm not always ready for a big workout in the middle of the day. But so we have taken several Ubers and taxis, and that comes, and it's like $3 every time we take it. So that's $106 for the Uber and taxis, $86 in gas. That covers us for a full fill up in the very beginning in New York before we drove to Philly. And then we filled the car up here. The owners at our house sit were kind enough to offer us their car. It was kind of low on gas, so we filled it up, and that cost something like $40. And we haven't even used half a tank of gas while we've been here for a full month. So we were happy to have it, but it's been a nice thing. Unfortunately, it's kind of like, why wouldn't we just drive and forget the taxis? Because parking in town costs something. So then we also had $27 for tolls back in New York, parking in New York. We have spent a little bit of money on parking in a couple places in town here. It's like $1 or $2 an hour at the most, and a lot. But that makes up our auto and transport.
There you go. So our 4th largest category is going to be health and fitness. We spent $155 in this category. I went to the dentist while I was here in San Miguel and had a cleaning as well as some x-rays. When we're back at the end of the year, I'm going to do some more work, but that cost $96 to visit the dentist here. Amy had basically the same thing back in Baltimore, and she spent $250
Something
for
like
basically
that,
the same thing. So we were
yeah.
happy to be doing this here, and this was a fantastic office.
And it was a high recommendation.
It came highly recommended from people who live here in San Miguel. I also got a haircut. It's about $15. That is a lot of money, apparently, for a haircut here. I've been told again and again and again. I think that included the tip. And then Amy, what else?
Oh, yeah, I'll do this one. Okay, so I had an at-home pedicure.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I haven't had a pedicure for like 2 years. I do my own, maybe years and years. So it's been a long time. So it was a $15. She comes to your home and does a full fantastic pedicure for $15. I tipped her really nicely. $10 on a $15 pedicure seemed like a 66% tip. I felt very nice nice with that. So she seemed real happy, and I will do that again for sure because we're coming back again at the end of the year. And then here's the thing that we realized is because we do carry-on luggage, we have to buy all of our toiletries when we get to a new location. So Tim needs shaving cream. We need shampoo and conditioner and body lotion and soap and all that kind of stuff. So because of that, that stuff is actually not super cheap. The kind of stuff that at least I buy here isn't super cheap. So we had some money there in new toiletries, and that rounds out health and fitness and beauty.
There you go. So the fifth largest category is going to be home and lodging, and we spent $140 this month in this category. So this month we didn't pay any rent. So between the Airbnb, we had bought those credits years ago, so we used
actually what that was, we had a canceled Airbnb from September of 2020, and we had a credit that's expiring at the end of 2021. Well, we haven't really had much need to be in an Airbnb because we've done a lot of house sitting this year, so we wanted to make sure we use those credits up. We're almost done with them, so our Querétaro trip was paid for with Airbnb credit that we had from last year.
And the other nights, we spent one night with a friend in Philly,
yeah,
and then the rest of the nights were in house sits. And so, again, no lodging cost. However, we did pay $90 for our storage unit for the month, and then Escapees, who has our mail service in Texas, we gave them $35 to reload our balance of. So when they send us mail, they charge us $10 against an account, so we just reloaded our account so that when it's time to send us our mail, the money's sitting there.
And we signed up for a new service on Escapees because we left the country. So we signed up for $10 extra a month on our normal package that we have. In the past, we would just send our mail to us wherever we were because we've been in the United States thanks to COVID. So we would just send our mail to us every, 4, 6, 8 weeks, and nothing that urgent was in there. We knew when we were leaving the country that we now needed to step it up and get mail scanning, and that was another $10, and that's going to be a recurring monthly thing. And now, instead of just seeing what our mail is every 8 weeks, we get to kind of see it real time. We were afraid, like we had a toll coming over one of the New York bridges, and they were going to bill us. So we were afraid that we would be getting a lot of penalties if we didn't get our mail for like 3 months. We might have a lot of penalty charges and fees on that. So I think that in the end will pay for itself. But and our storage unit, for anyone who doesn't know, it's a 5x10 storage unit. No furniture's in there. Kind of kills me because the price keeps going up, but that is what it is.
Yep. Our sixth largest category is going to be shopping. We spent $133 in this category. The largest chunk of that is for a password management tool. I bought 2 years of that. It was the $99 that I paid for that. And then I got some jeans and some other clothes while we were in Mexico. My jeans were only $19, and I'm happy with those.
They look really sharp.
Oh, thank you. So
Okay, utilities, not super exciting. $57, that's for our cell phone services. That is for my Google Fi. I'm going to put a video up here all about our regular services. But Tim also had $15 spent for a local SIM card.
And this is the first time we've actually taken advantage of or have implemented this idea. So I have 3 different phone services right now. I have Mint Mobile, which I turn off as soon as I leave the States, and I use exclusively when I'm in the States. I have Google Fi, which is turned off when I am in the States and only turned on when I leave the country. And really, I'm only planning to have it turned on for getting in the country and getting settled and finding a local SIM card. And then here in Mexico, I bought a local SIM card for $15 that covers me for the 5 remaining weeks that I intend to be here. And so that gives me 3 gig of data and unlimited text, and I have a local Mexican phone number. The other cool thing is I have Google Voice, which lives on top of this. So if somebody calls me at my US Google Voice number, it just rings here in Mexico like it's a local number. So all that convoluted story is to say I spent $15 on a SIM card here in Mexico. The other thing is here in Mexico,
phone stuff.
I do. So here's the other cool thing is you just plug this SIM in and it just goes. Unlike in other countries, when we were in Europe a few years ago,
we had to sit for an hour in the
store. We had to go have a conversation and register the SIM card, and it was a really big pain to get the SIM card going. Here in Mexico, literally, I bought it, the guy registered it while I stand there, and it just worked.
So easy. Okay, number 8 is entertainment, $30. That covers our Hulu and our newspaper subscriptions, and we had our entertainment. We haven't had much going on because things have been closed, but we just took a fun art tour. You saw in last week's video, street art tour, and that was $10. Number 9 is taxes. That's a big goose egg, so nice on that one. Okay, so let's talk about how much we thought we were going to be spending much less here in Mexico because it's generally can be cheaper. It doesn't have to be. Clearly it isn't for us. But we're trying to spend $3,000 for everything. What did we spend?
We spent $2,613. So I'm going to go with...
And it doesn't include any living, like any home.
So that is, we were expecting, so we thought as soon as we show up in Mexico, we're not spending anything. It's going to be really, really affordable here, and it's just going to be easy breezy to stay under our number. So I'm going to say we're not necessarily happy with that number. So we have some headway to make up from some things that happened earlier in the year.
I don't think we're making it up. I keep saying this.
I don't think we are.
We're in the second half of the year.
We got $400 worth of or $387. Whew, I'm not good at math anymore. To add to.
It's the pressure being on camera.
I guess that's what it is. But anyway, so anyway, we made a little progress this month. Well, where are we year to date?
Okay, year to date. So it's the 7th month of the year, so we should be at about $21,000. We are in at $25,099. Now, for those who've been around forever, you know that I had a major surgery in March that was about $6,500. So that certainly had a huge chunk. I do not see this improving because of what we have coming up. So it's not that I'm like poo-pooing it, but we are looking to be spending. We're going to be in the United States. We're only in Mexico for another few weeks, and then we're in Mexico. In the United States. We're going to be paying probably for Airbnbs in we don't know where yet because COVID has we don't know exactly what's going to be happening for the next several months because of COVID, and there's a good chance. And if we're in the United States and we're paying to stay, which is our intention, rates are sky high right now. So I'm looking at that. I don't see that there's a line of sight for us to get to 36,000. We are going to do a big charitable donation at the end of the year.
I think we could potentially make it happen, but we would have to have so many compromises in our life that we're just not willing to do that. So I think
like camping.
Not doing it.
We're not going to camp. So there's our video. So next week we're going to come with back to our travel kinds of videos. I'm curious. We have done a humongous shift in our format. So we're now that we're out on the road, we weren't having the most exciting life during COVID, sheltering in place. Well, now here we are in Mexico and things are getting exciting. And as soon as COVID allows us to like spread our wings, we are looking forward to bringing you on our journeys with us. And so we didn't want to be inside. It's been really rainy here. The mosquitoes are out eating us like crazy. So we're sorry for doing this video inside, but it is what it is. Next week, we're going to be back with an outside video talking about travel-y sorts of things for the next few weeks. So we hope that you will subscribe over here. Give us a like. See you next Wednesday.
Adios.